As AI continuously increases, people won't be able to trust anything. Everyone's trying to create an AI chatbot. Everyone's creating AI posts. If you log into social, you're going to log into a social platform and everything's going to be AI. You send someone a message, the AI responds to you. You look at an AI post, the AI comments are commenting back at you. There's going to be no real human talking, which people don't want. This defeats the purpose of social media. So if that's the case, then I'm telling people right now, you need to invest into a lot of time in meeting people in person and collecting as many numbers as you can and getting as much information as you can from people and building your own list. Because there's going to be a point where people are going to be fed up. That's why building a brand right now is so important.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Customer Success Talks, the podcast dedicated to helping those transitioning into customer success and early career customer success managers. I'm your host, Byron Toruño, Customer Success Manager, and just like you, I'm still learning about this amazing world of customer success. And I keep forgetting, so let me change a bit the structure of today's episode. I keep forgetting to remind you that at the upper left side of CS Talks podcast.com website, which is just fresh coming from the oven, you will see special offers where there's different people that I know personally and I will recommend to friends that have different services that will help you with your career growth. The only requirement is for them to make it as affordable as possible. So go check it out and let me know what you find there. Today's episode is going to be about personal branding in LinkedIn, but probably in general, as this is a really broad topic. How did I come up with the episode? Is this actually something related to your career as customer success, to my career customer success? I'm not sure. It could be. But when I came with this idea, I was in SaaS in Amsterdam, in the Amsterdam SaaS Yes event, and I just saw our guest today talk about how LinkedIn or how can LinkedIn be the ultimate lead generator, right? And then I heard something really cool about it, and I thought about it a little bit and thought about it. Why couldn't we make this an episode where we can use personal branding to show who we are as well as humans? Maybe show if you feel enough comfortable to share your story, to share your knowledge, but also like what I did myself with the podcast to find entrance to find a job and transition into customer success. And that's why I think that this is still worth it episode to talk about. I hope you stay with us today. And that's what we're going to be talking about. Now, who do we have on the other side of the table, which is online, of course? We have with us Morgan J. Ingram, founder and CEO of AMP Social, creator of the LinkedIn Sales Team 6, and one of the leading voices on turning LinkedIn into a real lead generator. He has coached thousands of sales development representatives on personal branding and social selling. We have with us today, Morgan. Thank you so much for your time and welcome to Customer Success Talks.
Awesome. Happy to be here. It's good shopping with you in Amsterdam, and here we are. So let's get it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, where are you right now? Are you in Arizona?
I'm in Arizona. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back in the setup, so we're good.
I hope you didn't have any like jet lag and so on.
No, actually, I was great. I came back and I was ready to go. So no jet lag this time. I am about to go to Japan in 2 days, so that will be
Poof.
different. Like, yeah, my jet lag will be that will be different when I come back. I think I'm probably cooked when I come back, but right now I'm good. I'm good right now.
Last time that I went to Costa Rica with my wife, it was the first time in my life that I had a 1 week of jet lag. It was just an awful week where we couldn't sleep. It was just so fucked up.
That's what's probably gonna happen to me. I'm probably just gonna be like just awake.
Good
Like,
luck.
it's all good though.
Morgan, I learned something from you today.
Talk to me.
Yeah. I can see how you're I don't know if it's selling or personal branding or just the way that you think and your mindset was already starting to create when you start selling Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Are you selling? Were you selling or trafficking Pokemon cards?
Look, we can't say trafficking. They're gonna come after me. I like the freedom I currently have. So let's just say it was selling.
Fair enough. Is that how? Tell us a little bit. I know it's not related, but tell us a little bit of how that started. I think it's so fun to hear.
So how it really started was I I had a different. So we were going to a basketball game back in
Mm,
middle school, and the book bag I always had I forgot for some reason. So I got my other book bag that I had in my locker, which had my Pokemon binder in it. And I collect Pokemon cards, but I didn't know that you could sell them. Because I was a huge Pokemon fan. I played the Pokemon game the whole entire thing, right? I even have a Game Boy still, like today, and I play it when I'm on flights and stuff. Because like I just love Pokemon.
You mean the Game Boy, the one that is square with the small disc? Oh no,
Yeah, I
no,
have
Game Boy.
yeah, I have the one that's it's an emulator, so it's got like all the Pokemons, it's got all Advance Wars, all Final Fantasy.
I got
Yeah.
confused with GameCube.
Yeah, no, you're good. No, I have like the Game Boy, the legit one. I still have it. So, anyways, that lets you know how involved I am. So I pull out the Pokemon cards in this binder, and I was showing it to my friend, and I remember somebody that was like a fan of the basketball team like came over and said, "Hey, can I buy one of the cards?" And I was like, "I guess." Like I don't know what that means, but like, how much do you want for it? He's like, "Yeah, I want $50." And like, so $50 as a middle schooler is like $500,000. And I was like, "Sure." So after the game, I went home and I was like, can I sell these? And so then I just started like looking up how to sell them and found out that people actually wanted them. So then I started asking other people at school if they wanted to buy them. They did. And then it just unfolded from there. And then now, I mean, now I don't sell them anymore, but yeah, it led into a whole thing where people found out I was making money and other people wanted to be involved. I told them what to do. Other people went to other schools with it and it became a thing. So that's how I got started.
That's so funny because I have a friend who has been collecting Pokemon cards and anything related to Pokemon for so many years, but now he's becoming a dad. So he needs that space at home for the little baby. So now he's starting to sell stuff. And I have seen like the process behind it. And it's so crazy how there's so much demand. It's so interesting.
Yeah, yeah, it's absolutely wild. I think the legacy basketball and the baseball cards have made a huge comeback for sure. The thing though is like you all are gonna hear this and be like, "Oh, I want to do this." Be very mindful if you decide to go do this because you have to be in it. You can't. This is not a casual thing that you can do. Like I was in it. Like I was buying cards from China to sell them in Georgia. Like this the levels that I was at. So if you're gonna do it, or with anything, I believe you have to be all in, which we'll talk about a lot of that today and other stuff. But I was all in this. Like I was buying cards from China. I was looking at the markets on how to sell. I was like in the weeds, like trying to figure out how to like get more people. Like I was in it. And that's the only way you're gonna be successful with it, to be fair.
That's interesting to say because maybe I'm translating that incorrectly in my mind, but you're talking about obsession, and
That is correct. You have
yeah,
to be
right.
obsessed. You have to be obsessed with what you're doing in the craft, and that doesn't mean that it's unhealthy. You could do this in a healthy way. I'm just saying this is the best way of doing it.
Yeah, yeah. Would that be like tell us a little bit more of your personal branding journey, right? So I can see how you have 188,000 followers on LinkedIn and 2,000, almost 3,000 on YouTube, and more and more and more. But that doesn't start from waking up one day and saying I want to do this and just do it, and now you have those numbers, right? So tell us a little bit more of how your personal branding started.
It started on Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah. So after graduating college, I wanted to be a motivational speaker. Uh, I don't recommend people to do that, but like,
Why they were not that motivated by you? Or what?
no, it's not that. It's just that I wasn't really talking about anything. I mean, I guess to
Mm,
a degree it was. I was talking about how I won two state championships in high school in basketball, and I was talking about how I graduated from college. Now, most people don't graduate from college, especially people that are African Americans or minorities. That's just statistics. I'm not calling people out. It's just statistics. So I did things to talk about. It was just like that was it, and there was not a lot. There wasn't like I wasn't talking from like contextually or like transformation. It was just purely mindset. And I could have gone down that path, but there were other paths that I chose, sales and stuff like that. But as I did it, like I didn't. That was no one tells you how to do that after graduating college. It was like I'm just gonna go do this thing, and people are just
yeah.
like, "Wait, what?"
Good luck, my friend.
Like, are you sure about that? So it was very interesting. Let's put it that way. But to kind of answer the point is that Facebook, I started doing motivational videos. My first videos were in my car, and it was me reviewing books. And I thought about putting them on LinkedIn just so people can see them because they're funny. But yeah, that's where I started. And after I started doing that, I went to an app called Periscope. and was still doing motivational stuff. I did three lives a day. And then when I went to LinkedIn, it just was the perfect mesh because I had already been creating content. And with the addition of my sales skills, they all merged together. And so it related to people more.
But didn't you go through all of the double thinking or what would people think about me? All of that stuff. I think those are challenges that we go through, or at least I have gone through when it comes to creating the podcast, right? And, ooh, what would people think about someone who back then never did customer success, but I knew and I know that I want to know and want to learn. And then when I release something, sometimes not anymore because now there's 105 episodes and more is coming. But I'm pretty sure that that could be something that people relay on, especially if you're an introvert.
Three things. I'm not an introvert, so I can't speak to an introvert. So I'm sorry, y'all. I can't help y'all. I'm an extrovert or whatever you want to label it as. So, but I will. The advice I'm going to give you, it helps everybody. So the thing is that when I first started, I had the same feeling like, who am I? How are people going to judge me? How are people going to feel? I also thought it was dumb. I thought posting content was stupid. Like, why would I do that? So I had two things that I had in my head. It changed for me when someone just told me, hey, when you create a post, what you're doing is you're just looking to impact one person. And so when you focus on that, it eliminates what are people thinking about me? And then it eliminates this is stupid because you're just impacting one person. But to the three things that I would address to somebody, now that you've understood I've been in the same place as you, is number one, I don't want people to take this the wrong way, but like it's really not that deep and like it's like nobody really cares. That's a hard thing to for people, but like nobody really cares. No one's really checking on you like that. Now, if you get to a certain level, yes, but like in the beginning, no. Like nobody really cares to that level, which makes it a lot easier because you can figure out what your emotion is. Two is
Sometimes, Morgan, just to add a little bit on that one, on
yeah, go
that
ahead.
first part, it's like even myself, sometimes I'm scrolling through any social media or anything, and I can see a post and I'm like, oh, and I just continue, or I get stuck because I'm interested. But
Exactly.
mostly, most of the time, it's not like, oh, look at Morgan, blah, 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 blah. It's just continuing moving around.
If you're doing something out of pocket, then like that's different, but right? But like for the most part, like no, you're good. The second thing is creating content is actually one of the best things that you can do because it allows for you to find other people that believe in your beliefs and your values outside of your local area. So the cool thing is I've been able to interact, connect, go to different places and meet other people knowing that fact. I can connect with people that are on the same wavelength, similar as me, that are willing to connect and have this conversation. When you think about it that way, you want to create more content because like I can find more people that are like me, right? That's the cool thing about it. And the third thing is that in business, it allows to elevate the level of trust. So people are able to trust probably me more than maybe others because they see me out there on videos and doing certain things and now they're able to understand what I'm about. Those are the things that I want to.
The expectations can also be high.
Yes, they can be. But I also wouldn't even look at it that way because if you're sharing what you're learning and what you're doing from your journey, then you're fine because it's what like the expectations are high, yes, but if you're faking it, then that obviously is very stressful. But if you're not, then this is just what you're sharing in your journey and what you've learned. So there is nothing really stressful about that because it's just what you're learning and what you're doing.
You're sharing your story basically.
Yeah, like
What is
I'm
wrong with
sharing
that?
my story and my perspective, which no one else can take, and also at the same time is unique to me and unique for people to consume and consider, right? So that's another point of it as well.
I love this because like it's like no one cares. So that's first the mindset of to have and move one step ahead into then building that community or being into a community or you building the community and then feeling how other people are either benefit or like you're being benefit from others as well. But and then third, the level of trust is gonna be higher. And I think that you will be able to develop some really interesting skills.
Yeah.
I'm like I said, I'm working with the coach on how I can bring this podcast even to a next level. And one of the things that he said is you just have to fill out the social media with videos, with content, letting people know that you're out there. And the how to, that's a different topic that we will discuss today. But that's his first recommendation. So I'm working on that, and I think that trust you will develop some skills that one can just do by just actually like leveraging that, like doing it. Otherwise, it would just like stay as it is, basically.
Exactly, 100%.
What? How can someone start building their personal branding in LinkedIn? Like, what recommendations do you have?
3 steps. The first step is, why do you want to do it?
The
I find that
intention.
people are just
Mhm.
like, oh, I want to do it, and it's like, but why? And there's always Simon Sinek's like, what's your why? And you can dig into that. But when I ask what's your why, is that like there needs to be a really good driving motivation. So, for example, if you're like, hey, I want to lose weight or lose body fat, and you're just like, yeah, just cuz, it's probably not a good driving force, to be fair. There has to be something deeper for that. It's like, yeah, I want this, do this because I'm about to get married, or I'm doing this because I want to be in the Olympics, or I'm doing this because, man, I know I need to live longer for my kids. Those are things that are really driving forces for you to actually stay consistent in your goal and be disciplined. Otherwise, it's just something you're just saying just because you want to say it. And I've been there and I understand that. So when it comes to building a brand, it's like, what are you trying to do? Like, I'll give you an example. When I first started in 2016 on LinkedIn, my goal was super clear. I wrote it down in my notebook. I was like, I want to be the number one person that people talk about when it comes to sales development. That was it. That was the only goal I had. So that was why I created the content. So that pulled me every single day. I didn't have to really push hard. It was just like that's what I wanted. And I find that when I don't have that, I'm pretty kind of off. Like there was about 2 years in creating content where I was just like, I don't really know what to say, but I've been doing it for almost 9 years. So I'll tell you, once you get past year 4, year 5, you're kind of like, what do I talk about? Everyone runs into this. It's inevitable. I'm now more clear on what I want now, but I'm just stating that for people like I've been clear and I've been lost. It's way better when you're clear on why you're building the brand and you need to ask yourself like what do you want to be known for? What are you aiming for? Why are you even building this brand in the first place? If it's just because I see everyone else is doing it, you're not going to be as motivated to do the work. You need to find out why you actually are pulled towards that.
Like thinking about yourself first, putting yourself first.
Putting yourself first on what do you want people to know for? Like when you go out in the street, what do you want people to say? That's what I thought about. And like, so when people do interact with me in the street, they're like, hey, I know you for these things. This is what I see from you. And then if it aligns, then I'm doing a good job. If it doesn't, then I have work to do. But that's the first step before you do anything. The second thing is you need to study. And I still study today because things just change so fast. It's not the same when I first started. Like it's a lot of things that I still study. But also the best advice I ever got was always be the best student possible. So I have a personal trainer, I have a salsa teacher, I have a coach in general, like executive coach, and then I also from time to time will get even in today's age, I still get content coach help because I saw other Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, Michael Jordan, they had a coach as well. So like if they have one, then why not me? And I tell every single person when I work with them is like I'm gonna be the best student you've ever had, which allows them to lean in and give me things that typically they wouldn't. So why am I telling you all this? Is that when you start content, yes, you can go hire a coach to make you get better, but you yourself just need to commit to being a really good student and go study the platform. The things that do well, why? Why is that format doing well? What kind of hooks are they doing? What kind of call to actions are they doing? Why are they doing well and what they're doing? Like really studying that is very important. And that's what I've done as time has changed. I've had to study and figure out what's important, what's not. And then I have to lean on those things to make sure I can present those in the right way. And then the third thing is figuring out what your delivery mechanism is once you start. So there's 3 ways to deliver content. Audio, like we're on right now, like a podcast that you'll send out. Written, which is like obviously a very obvious writing. And then video. I'm a video person. So I lean more towards video. I stopped doing it for a while because it can be a lot, but I'm about to go really hard with it again. But I'm more of a video person, very comfortable in video. I prefer a live stream. I prefer talking to people. This is just my method. Writing is my lowest. Not to say that I can't do it. I just prefer not to. And then audio is in the middle. So for everyone, you need to figure out what yours is. If you're more of a writer, start with writing. If you're more of a video person, start with video, and then branch out into the other two. So that's like how you start your brand and how you go about it. and how you can be successful.
Okay. And that's why because it sounds a lot. It's basically a lot of work, a lot of learning, a lot of being active in the sense of continuous curiosity. You actually have a word that you used, I heard from you, dangerously curious.
Yeah, I'm dangerously curious. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
right. Okay. And I loved that. When I heard that, I was like, damn it, I should have used that one before Morgan did. But well, I'll have to come up with another one. It's like being curious, obsessed, passionate, but also thinking about you. I feel that are like great combinations on when it comes to mindset to avoid burnout. I have had it with the podcast at the beginning, and I figured it out now. But that is can easily happen.
And everyone can feel that, especially when you've done 100 plus, which congratulations to you. It's not easy to do. Most people, 80% of people quit after episode three.
Yeah.
At episode three. I found that though in life, as long as you are dangerously curious, things will be okay. Because you're always going to be like, how can I do this even better? Or who do I need to learn from? I'm 100% okay with learning from people that are currently doing better than me, even though they've done it in a shorter time frame. I'm okay with that at this point. Before, no, but you have to remove your ego and be like, all right, like what do I need to learn that like I'm just missing? Clearly something, so I'm willing to.
It's funny how you are telling your story and I'm also telling my story, but there are so many things that matches. At the
Yeah,
beginning, I was not understanding why guests were not answering my messages.
yeah,
There was just a constant, um, not deny, but rejection towards being taking their time because it's their time into a podcast where it's just maybe 2, 3 followers back then. And I was continuously comparing to others, and it can just hit so bad. And I think that we have sometimes to go through that maybe to understand that.
you do. I think that's just part of growth. It can be slightly painful, but it's just, but also it's just part of the game. It's just kind of how I look at it.
What other challenges have you seen people going through when it comes to doing this personal branding journey?
To speak to myself, when you get to a certain point and people do like what you're doing, you just feel like you feel like it always has to hit.
It was
So
a hit.
like hit like a song. Like so when I think about being a content creator or building your brand, it's like being an artist to a degree. It's like you're putting posts out there and you're like you don't really know what's gonna hit or not. To be fair, I mean I have a good indicator at this point, but like sometimes I just sometimes things I thought were gonna do well don't. So you're the problem sometimes is like you get so caught up in the digital landscape of your brand that you start losing I guess the fun for it. You start losing like what actually is going on. It makes you feel a little bit differently than you probably should, and you're like start losing kind of like that energy around it. I think another part of it is that when you're building a brand, you try to lean on other people's brands and you create a voice that isn't your own. You do gimmicks and things that like don't really align with your character and your integrity of who you are. I think another thing with brand is that it can be I think it can also get to your head and that you think that you're bigger than you are, which then you lose part of what the brand was in the beginning. A lot of it is very mental and psychological, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Tactically, you'll get frustrated. You'll be like, "Oh, this is no one's. I'm not hearing about it, etc." Like, yeah, there's frustrations. I find it's more psychological though. Like the things that it can turn you into are the things that you start doing that you wouldn't do because you're starting to really see success. You start doing things differently. That's what I realized and seen from other people.
And that's what, based on my notes that you have sent here, Morgan, basically most of the points have been mindset.
Yeah,
And then like delivery mechanism, it's a tactical
yeah.
step, or maybe we haven't touched yet that much tactical. Also studying, always preparing is tactical. But I definitely hear a lot of mindset and maybe patience and those type of soft skills.
It is because it's not gonna. There are outliers who do pop off immediately, but it took. Mr. Beast is the biggest YouTuber in the world. It took him probably like 120 videos before he actually got it. If you look at, and also I always tell people look at people's early stuff. Gary Vee, I don't think people really cared until his like 300th episode of Wine Library. I think you gotta look back at what people did in the past and realize how long it took them to get stuff going. Alex Ramosi had like 150 episodes of his gym podcast before anybody cared. You know, like it takes it. There are outliers, but the large majority of the population, it takes time, and that's why I believe a brand is a mindset, and it is something that it is a long-term play. It's not something that will happen within a week. It's going to take time, but once it's there, and it can get you very far.
There's this saying of, maybe in Spanish sounds better, or I can translate it better, but I mean, it's like it's sometimes it's easy to get to the top, but the hardest part is to stay in the top
Yeah,
and be that person, like those big creators that we just mentioned. Like, I follow a lot of Stephen Barclay from the Diary of a CEO,
yep,
and I also, like, he recently published something on Instagram where at the beginning there was just like 20 followers or something like that,
yeah,
and he never gave up in that sense. And but once you reach and we're talking about, like you say, like it's not a race, it's a marathon where you now are in the top and constantly have to find ways to innovate to stay there. I think that's a different story or a different perspective from the same coin.
to stay at the top.
To stay on the top.
Hard. Yeah, it's very difficult. It's hard because it's like you have to continuously be re-innovating, and you have to continue to stay curious. And the stuff that got you there probably won't keep you there because there's always someone who wants the top. And again, that's more of a mental thing and an edge. Because if you're just like, I'm good, like somebody will come out of nowhere. And that's seen in sports and in anything and in life. So yeah, it's very difficult to do, and that's what again leads to all the pressures that I mentioned earlier. Because you're like, dang, like how do I stay in the spot?
Morgan, I have a question for you. Maybe I should have asked this from the beginning, but I just got wrapped into the conversation. But I think that we haven't defined what is personal branding. For
Yeah,
you, what is personal branding?
it's a good question. It's an extension of who you are to the masses
Oh,
externally. So everyone, to a degree, everyone has a personal brand though. So like, but when we're talking about it, we're talking externally. But you do have a personal brand whether you like it or not. So if even if you decide to post nothing, you do have a brand. People have interacted with you, people have met with you, whatever. So when I think of it in this context from like a digital perspective, is like it's an extension of who you are to the masses. And you can either control that or not. I prefer to control that as much as possible. But if you do nothing, someone else will paint that story for you.
what do you mean?
So if you don't post anything or you don't say anything, the only thing that people have to go off of is the interactions you have with those people. Now, to a degree, if you had really great conversations and you have good interaction with people, then like this is nothing to worry about. What I'm saying though is that like that's the only thing you have in terms of your brand is the people you interact with and how they refer you to other people. I'm saying you can do that, but the extension is why not take control of that narrative and do it externally as well and take control of what that is.
Love how you said that we are constantly having our, I think, like a personal brand. Like, we like it or not, we are being seen as Byron, the person who is chaotic, or Byron, the person who is organized.
Yeah.
Byron, who is a good person, or Byron, who is the bad person. So I think that there are also factors that we can control. Other ones is just impossible. And I love what I heard also about that. Personal branding is the extension of who you are.
That's all it is. You can fake it and try to do all that stuff, but at some point you'll get caught up. You'll run into a conversation, you'll be in person, and people will find out who you are. So it is just an extension of who you are. And also amplifying the level of trust you have in the market, which is what you want. You want people to trust you.
Yeah, to trust, but also for one to be able. Like, when I started the podcast, my goal was to be a customer success manager. Like, dude, I'm so obsessed with this career. It's just so rich, right? Um, but I couldn't, like, recruiters were continually rejecting, no's here, no there. But I also noticed that I had to study, basically. And then I start creating that brand, maybe not as big as I thought in my head it would be, but it gave me a lot of tools to be able to have the same language with the speakers. And I think that, like you said, having the why do you want to do that, and creating like small goals towards that can keeps you motivating. I think that's going to be key, but it's just not something that is done like one day to the other.
No, it's not. And the thing is, like, I think it's just a big part of it is consistency, and people keep seeing you over and over again, so they know who you are and what you're about to.
uh, like triggers.
Like same thing, yeah. I mean, because if I, it's like a billboard, right? I mean, they kind of don't use them anymore, but like, if you're driving and see this billboard consistently, it's gonna stay top of mind. So if you think about brand and posting, it's the same thing. It's like if I'm posting consistently, I'm gonna stay top of mind, right? So like those are also factors of it too.
I have two more questions, Morgan. Just two more, I promise you. One is something that I don't know if it's in my head. I don't know if it's in my circle, or it's just me creating it, or is it actually happening? I'm still trying to figure out this. Don't you feel that there's a LinkedIn fatigue?
What of what?
Yeah,
Fatigue of what?
of LinkedIn postings, of so much over um, articles being shown.
Oh yeah, yeah. Fatigue is at an all-time high. As much as I love I think it's ruining a lot of things. People have lazy habits, so it's creating more just fluff and filth. Fluff is what I'm trying to say. So because of that, right, it's easier to make content than ever before. So more and more people are just going to put it out there and just be like, here's what's going on, which is starting to annoy people. And so my concept that I'm telling people now, and as I go into next year, URL to IRL.
URL to I.
So URL as in like digital websites, etc., to IRL, which is in real life. So as AI continuously increases, people won't be able to trust anything. Everyone's trying to create an AI chatbot. Everyone's creating AI posts. If you log into social, I think in the next, I'm going to tell you all right now, in the next 2 to 3 years, maybe less time, you're going to log into a social platform and everything's going to be AI. You send someone a message, the AI responds to you. You look at an AI post, the AI comments are commenting back at you. So there's going to be no real human talking, which people don't want. It defeats the purpose of social media. So if that's the case, then I'm telling people right now, you need to invest into a lot of time in meeting people in person and collecting as many numbers as you can and getting as much information as you can from people and building your own list. Because there's going to be a point where people are going to be fed up. That's why building a brand right now is so important. I just don't think you actually have much time as people think. I'm not trying to be doom and gloom. I'm just seeing the writing on the wall. People aren't going to show up on social if everything's AI. What's the point of that?
Yeah.
So the biggest thing people need to do is build some level of brand today and start moving those to in real life so you can build deeper connections.
That sounds a lot of authenticity.
Authenticity, transparency, being real, whatever you want to call it, it just is you need to start connecting with people on the real. Digitally is just going to be, we're just using it as this mechanism right now to reach other people. But it's going to get to a point where like people are just not going to trust it in general. They're going to think everything's AI. So you could be as personalized as you want, but they're going to be like, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that. Love that. Also, thank you for the perspective as well. Is there any other question you wish I would ask you as the host of the podcast? Anything that you would love me to ask you to help people to build their personal brand?
The question, well, I'll just kind of give the statement here is that like the question is, how do you want people to feel about your personal brand? And so that's like the question I want y'all to ask yourself is that when you create this content, how do you want people to feel? How do you want people to feel about you? And that will also give you a vision and correlation on how you need to create the content too.
Mm. Thank you, Morgan. Thank you again for your time, for your insights, for bringing your perspective into this episode. And I'm gonna stay personally with what you said. I will stay with the 3 points, which is why you want to do this. Keep studying, be brutally, dangerously curious, and find your delivery mechanism. I found podcasts. Maybe it could be a blog. Maybe it could be helping in communities, being a speaker. So those are the 3 points I will stay with today.
Amazing.
Thank you again. And everyone out there, remember, keep learning, keep growing, and let's keep improving the world of customer success. Until next time.
Cheers, everybody.